What's up, everybody? Consider hitting the like and subscribe button as I upload videos on a weekly basis covering the hottest topics in sports, especially if it is OU related. This is Ballin' with Buie. Today I'm going to break down UFC 260 that's happening this Saturday night. I think 9 p.m. is when it's going to start, when the main card is going to start. So let's break down the main card. First fight, 260, it's going to be lightweight bout between Jamie Malarkey and Worthy. Jamie Malarkey is 12-4, while Worthy is sitting at 16-7. Worthy is the favorite as of now on the betting lines. Malarkey made his UFC debut in 2019. He's 0-2 since he made that debut, and Worthy made his UFC debut also in 2019, and he's 2-1. His last fight, though, he did lose by TKO. So I think this is going to be a fairly close fight. I can't imagine too much happening in the first round. Worthy's just a slight favorite. He's not a huge favorite by any means. But I think I probably will go with the favorite. Malarkey is 0-2 in the UFC so far, so it's kind of hard to go with him when Worthy is 2-1 in the UFC. And I know he's 16-7, but honestly, those fights before the UFC don't matter too much. I know it shows on your record, but once you get into the UFC, it's a whole nother world. So it's like a fresh start, pretty much, and he's sitting at 2-1. So I think Worthy's going to get the win, and I think Malarkey's going to end up starting his UFC career at 0-3. I don't know if that'll be enough for him to be like, maybe this isn't for me, or whatever. But we'll see what happens. First, Worthy's got to win, but I do think that Worthy is going to get that win in the first fight of the main card. Moving on to the second fight, it's going to be a women's flyweight bout between 15 Gillian Robertson and Miranda Maverick. Robertson sitting at 9-5 coming into the fight. Maverick sitting at 10-2. So obviously Maverick's the favorite, not by much, but she's a bigger favorite than Worthy is in his fight. Robertson 2-1 in 2020, so not too bad. She did lose her last fight by unanimous decision, and then Maverick, she's been on a tear. She's won 6 in a row. Her UFC debut was in 2020, which she won obviously since she's won 6 in a row. So she is hot right now. She is on a tear, and she's coming to make some noise. Gillian Robertson is the 15th contender in that flyweight division, while Miranda Maverick is sitting on the outside of the rankings, and I think this win could put her up there, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think she is going to get the win. Again, I'm going to roll with the favorite. Now, Gillian Robertson is a fairly solid fighter. I've seen her fight a couple times. I know she lost her last fight, but she did get 2 wins last year, so she isn't some easy feat to surpass for Maverick. But I do think Maverick will get it done. I don't think that Gillian's going to be the one to stop her hot streak. Now, moving on to the third fight, which potentially is my favorite fight of the night, just because my favorite fighter on this card is fighting. He might be my favorite fighter right now, considering Khabib is officially retired, which is in the bantamweight division. Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. Sean O'Malley, man, he is that guy. Before I jump into him, though, he's sitting at 12-1, and Almeida's sitting at 22-4. Almeida's been at it for a while now. He is a very good fighter. He's kind of hit a cold streak recently, but still a very good fighter. Sean O'Malley, let's talk about him for a second. His last fight, he ended up losing. That was his one loss. He was 12-0 going into that fight. He lost to Vera, and he got hurt during the fight. So I honestly don't think that Vera won the fight, just because Sean O'Malley had a lower body injury during the fight. So Vera was easily able to finish him because Sean O'Malley couldn't put any weight on his leg. And it wasn't due to Vera hurting him by any means, or kicking his leg over and over, or anything like that. Vera thinks it is. Vera thinks that he deserves all the credit for beating Sean O'Malley in the first round. And I don't give it to him, because Sean O'Malley was winning that first round until this injury happened, and then it was just downhill from there. I think if they were to fight on this card, Sean O'Malley, I think, would wipe him, because Sean O'Malley is one of the hottest fighters still. He's still one of the hottest fighters in UFC, even coming off a loss. Sean O'Malley is a very good fighter, and that bantamweight division better watch out, because Sean O'Malley's coming. I know he's not ranked yet, but he's coming. and he's gonna make some noise here fairly soon. Vera, like I said, thinks that he whooped him, and I think if I haven't seen Vera fight since that fight. I don't know if he has. I haven't kept track of him because I don't think he's an important fighter. Anyways, moving on to Almeida. Almeida has lost 3 in a row. Like I said, he's been sliding. His last win was all the way in 2016. And the crazy thing is, he was 21-0 at one point with the overall fighting record, and he's now 1-4 in his last 5 fights. That's just astounding. He's still a very dangerous fighter. I mean, if you're 21-0, I don't care what you're fighting. If you're 21-0 at any point, then you're a very good fighter. But his last 5 fights just have not been very good. I think he maybe has lost 3 in a row. I can't remember. He's 1-4 in his last 5. I think 3 of those are in a row. But Sean O'Malley, huge favorite in this fight, and once again, I'm going to roll with the favorite. Sean O'Malley's going to get a victory. He's going to right his wrong from his last fight where he picked up his first career loss, and he's going to start a new streak for himself, and he's going to get the train rolling again. Moving on to the co-mains in the welterweight division, it's number 7 contender Tyron Woodley versus number 10 contender Vincent Leakey, I think is how you say his last name. Probably not. That's a guess though. Anyways, Woodley, man, he went from being the champ to not looking like he used to be a champ at all. He's lost 3 in a row now. That first loss came to Kamaru Usman, where he lost the championship belt to him, obviously. And then his next fight, he lost to Gilbert Burns. And then his next fight, he lost to Colby Covington. And in that fight against Gilbert Burns and Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley did not look like championship Tyron Woodley. He did not look like he used to hold a belt. He did not look like he is in contention for another title shot. He looked like a washed fighter. He looked like someone who needed to hang it up. He had no sense of urgency in either of those fights. He just kind of walked in there and, just hung out and got beat up for multiple rounds in both of those fights. I guess I'll give a little bit of credit to Burns and Covington, but not too much because I think Woodley is still a better fighter than them. I don't know what was happening with him, and I hope that the real Tyron Woodley shows up for this UFC 260. Moving on to Vincent, he's won 2 in a row. He's 7-1 since 2018. Man, I want to pick Tyron Woodley so bad, and I don't know if I can, just because he looks so bad in those last 2 fights. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but he did not look good at all. And Vincent, he's 7-1 since 2018, and he's the favorite. He's 19-7-1. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna give Tyron Woodley one more chance. One more chance to show me that he is still one of the best fighters in the welterweight division. So I'm going to pick Tyron Woodley. I'm going to go with the upset. I don't know if it's going to happen. I definitely wouldn't put any money on it because those last 2 fights, like I said, looked awful. But I'm going to roll with you, Tyron. And if you disappoint me, if you pick up another loss, then I'm done with you. I won't pick you to win another fight. I don't care who you're fighting. So moving on to the main event. Heavyweight bout, as we all know, it's going to be champion Stipe Miocic versus number 1 contender Francis Ngannou. This is going to be the second time that they have fought. Stipe beat Ngannou by unanimous decision in 2018. Before the whole Cormier saga, Stipe obtained the belt in 2016, and then he lost the belt to Cormier in 2018, and then we know that Stipe went on to beat Cormier in consecutive fights, and then Daniel Cormier retired after that. But Ngannou, he's won 4 straight, all by first-round TKOs, and this is the impressive part. Ngannou looks like a completely different fighter than what he looked like when he faced Stipe that first time. He's won 4 straight, all by first-round TKOs. And listen to this. His last 4 fights combined have lasted less than 3 minutes. 4 fights have lasted less than 3 minutes. He doesn't even break a little bit of sweat. He doesn't get a little tired because he is ending every fight in the first round. He's on a tear right now, and last time I checked, he was the favorite, which is crazy. The champion Stipe Miocic, who beat Daniel Cormier, who a lot of people consider him to be one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time. He is not the favorite in this fight. Francis Ngannou is the favorite. Now that could change by the time that the fight happens. You never know. Lines change all the time. But Francis Ngannou is a favorite, and that's who I'm going to roll with. I mean, he is on fire. I can't ignore the first round TKOs. I just can't. He's sitting at 15-3. Stipe sitting at 20-3. I think Francis Ngannou is going to be the new heavyweight champion of the world, and it'll set up a rematch, obviously, and so that'll give us Ngannou versus Miocic Part 2, or Part 3, actually, since they've already fought. And this is the second one. But yeah, I think by the end of the night, Francis Ngannou is going to be the new heavyweight champion of the world. Hot take, you heard it here first. So I'll catch y'all later. Deuces.